Hello, welcome to the Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman podcast. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Theresa Bateman, and every week I'm going to sit down with a member of my creative community to discuss our traumas, big and small. From the petty to the PTSD to the punchlines of our best jokes, the issues of today, our triggers of the week, and our most problematic opinions, and ultimately how we find the funny in the bad shit that's happened to us. In the end, we'll form a lasting bond. A trauma bond. Sit back, listen, and bond with us, won't you?
And light another dude, cause it's what? It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman. I am so excited for today's guest. He is a Los Angeles-based podcast producer, formerly Ologies with Alie and My Favorite Murder, ever heard of it, with Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, host of See Jurassic Right, a podcast for curious adults. He has 3 beautiful cats named Ripley, Wendy, and Bidi Bidi Bom Bom. Have you ever heard more perfect cat name? Please join me in welcoming my very special guest today, Stephen Ray Morris.
Hi.
Hi.
I match your walls.
You do.
Some of your walls.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
You're very tonally on point with the vibe of the color scheme of my apartment. I just want everyone. I think pod producer Alie Jordani has described it as walking into a clamshell.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
And credit to also my bestie Emily, who's here helping us today, because this was paint that she didn't use for an apartment, and I got to inherit it, and now it looks gorgeous.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's
Very
really nice.
soothing, as we're about to talk about maybe
Yeah.
dark things. I don't know.
Exactly. We'll see.
That's the pearl at this.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, to kick us off, do you have anything you would consider to be your trigger of the week? Anything pissing you off, grinding your gears, getting you up in arms, reminding you of old wounds, whatever it may be?
I wish I mean, there's so many horrible things happening.
Yeah.
RFK somehow saving dead raccoon penises and like this is like, or the Waffle House, the FEMA person who believed they got transported, like the Christian version of like transliterate, like ported to a Waffle House kind of like all this stuff. Like I do a lot of science advocacy stuff, and there's just so many things like these are the people running our country who are like making decisions about, you know, especially women's bodies, who like have never even probably seen a naked woman other than on porn or whatever.
Yeah, that part.
Like
speak on it.
just that part. But like actually the thing that is more triggering to me is I had to give up caffeine this week. And so I'm like really trying hard. I'm trying a new medication. And so it was just this thing of like, normally I feel like we all have like 4 cups of coffee and it does nothing. It's like our soul is dead. And it's just like I have 4 cups, like 1 to wake up, 1 to like really get started the day, and then, you know, the rest to actually help. And so yeah, I've been in like trying this new medication and stuff. It's like, oh, why do I feel like I'm like I thought this was supposed to help my anxiety,
but I feel like I'm dying.
And so I literally bought decaf coffee.
Oh, and that's okay even with like the trace amounts of caffeine in there? You're allowed
so far.
Okay.
Yeah, only mild anxiety, but
okay.
But it is just one of those things where it feels like we're supposed to be productive and all these different things in our lives. And it's like, you just want something to, I don't know what your medication experience is, but it's just such a rough, like not too much, not too little. Like I still have to do things, you know, I think like I had back surgery in December. And so all this stuff is like, just rest, but you're like, I have to work, you know, like,
you're like how, okay.
It's
also,
all that chaotic stuff,
rest
you know,
gets boring.
Yeah. Right.
But so is it like you have to just not have caffeine for like a little while you figure out how it affects you and then you can get back on, or is it like never again while you're on this medication?
I think while my heart goes insane, like I actually have like my psych made me buy a heart monitor.
Oh my god!
So that I can like test it during the day if it goes too nuts. So
oh my gosh.
Maybe if I like settle in or something, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I bought decaf. I never thought I would be that person. You know what I mean?
You know, it's so funny because I've started at work even, and this isn't anything to do with medication, just my own, like my pits are too sweaty. Anxiety is I've started doing like this much regular coffee and then this much decaf, which I also never thought I'd be a decaf girly, but My pits get real sweaty, and I gotta tell you, I noticed that there's a direct correlation with it if I'm drinking a lot of coffee.
With caffeine? Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't
feel
know.
like
The anxiety for me comes out that way. Sorry, TMI.
I feel like it's like, people who smoke or whatever. It's like, and if you don't smoke anymore, you're like, can I just get a secondhand,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
can I get secondhand coffee,
Just doing like a really intense smell of the
Yeah.
cup. So funny. Well, okay, trying a new medication, no more caffeine. My prayers and thoughts are with you. Prayers and thoughts? I said it in the opposite way. My thoughts and prayers
Yeah.
be with you. My goodness, that's rough. I remember I had to quit caffeine, or I didn't have to. I was just like, let's give it a go. Cold turkey a few years ago, the headaches, horrible. Have you experienced that, like weaning off of caffeine where you get headaches?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for it, know?
Hopefully not. I'm just like, damn, we're all so addicted to so many things.
But see, that's why I don't look up anything, because I feel like that's like almost again, am I getting the placebo from the decaf right now? And
Right.
so like, again, when I discovered that I was going to do back surgery and all that stuff, like none of it felt real until like a couple days before the surgery. And they're like, oh, if you die on the operating table, like maybe your dick will never work again. Like all this stuff. And you're just like, all right, great. Like, let's go,
All right, sign me up.
Yeah. And it was just a little bit like, that's the moment where I was like actually terrified. Like the 6 months leading up to it was like, okay, whatever.
Oh my God. So you had that much leeway. I'm like, do you mind me asking, like,
no.
why did you have to have back surgery? That's so intense.
I know. Well, it's not even a really traumatic thing either. And it's been my fun icebreaker over the last year is like, what's your surgery story? And I've heard insane stuff. A friend of mine who is a good friend now, but wasn't at the time, showed me her C-section. I was like, great, we're really bonding. You know what I mean? Like we're really bonding. But no, apparently I fractured my spine in 2 places, like in my late teens or early 20s. They don't actually know.
What?
Yeah, they don't know. It was just when I herniated a disc a couple years ago, and it was like, going to shows and things like that, where you're like, oh, I used to be able to like stand for the openers, and it was like, but at some point, like I couldn't stand for like more than 30 minutes, without being in pain. And you're like,
damn,
if I'm going to
sucks.
Beyonce, I have to stand the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you must for Queen Bee.
And so that's when like doing all that, because again, like I feel for people with chronic illness who have lots of health issues, because it's like that whole process was like a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, our healthcare industry sucks.
Yeah.
And makes everything impossible. And gaslights you at every turn because they don't want to pay for stuff. So.
Oh, you're young. You're young. Literally every person I've talked to has had that said at them at least once or twice.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like
I'm like, now I'm like pushing 40. I'm like, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah,
like
no,
there's stuff happening, Like,
I know. I just turned 39. Like the people who are telling this to you are like men in their 80s usually.
Because boomers won't retire, period.
Yes.
They're like, you're just a kid. I'm like, no, you need to retire, please.
They're emotionally still our age.
They're emotionally still like 5.
Yeah.
They've never progressed past like pure baby child brain.
Yeah.
This is a common running theme on the podcast, trashing on boomers because they need to go. They gotta go. They gotta get the hell out of here.
We lost the only good one in Jimmy Buffett a few years ago.
Oh, Jimmy Buffett. I used to deliver weed to his daughter.
Wow.
I'll cut that out. I doubt she'll listen to the pod, but it's true.
I love that. So yeah, they discovered that I had these 2 spine fractures. And so, yeah, I got 2 like metal rods put in my spine in December, but it was one of those things where it's like, I'm not a daredevil. Like I don't jump off of anything. Like I'm not Chris Fairbanks, like on a skateboard still, you know what I mean? And Chris had the most insane hip surgery. So he's totally a baller times 10, but no, I've traced it down to like 2 things. It could either be, I fell while spelunking when I was 18.
Oh my God.
But like, but it wasn't like a fall. It was like I'm sliding down a thing and I hit the ground really hard.
Okay.
Or, and this could be traumatic, which was, the trailers for like a bike when you want to put when people want to put their kids, like hitch it up to like a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
And so my dad was like driving us down a hill, my sister and I, and then he turned and the bike turned, but the trailer didn't. So like it tumbled like an action movie.
That's my nightmare.
And like my sister and I just like spilled on the sidewalk.
No, that's horrible.
And so I just like, those are the only 2 physical things in my life. Yeah.
You start an investigative podcast trying to figure out how you got this back injury.
Yeah. But that's truly so. But then it's just one of those things where I guess I've been living with it for a long time.
That sucks.
But yeah.
And then, but what were your indicator? Oh, just besides like anything other than just not being able to like stand for more than 30 minutes, which is a pretty bad one.
I think it's just the thing of like, I think like the lockdown, working from home culture, like I think a lot of people like, again, our healthcare in our country sucks. So I bet you so many people are walking around with stuff that they like have no idea. Like that's why people have giant like cyst pimples, because it's like, so it's just one of those things where I feel like I built my life around having this injury without even knowing it. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like we're so like brainwashed to be so like self-sufficient and resilient and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So it's just like, I'll work through every bit of pain. And especially if you're like a woman and you just kind of have pain built in in so many ways already, and the medical industry gaslights the fuck out of you, you're like, I'm not going to bother with that. I don't need to go down that road. I don't need a boomer 80-year-old man being like, oh, little silly girl, it's all in your head.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, should I go to Mexico or Canada?
No, I mean, I had an ex, like she had cysts on her ovaries, and it was just a thing where like the doctors were like, I don't know, just sometimes they pop. And you like, so like in the 4 years that we dated, this like over 10 years ago, sometimes she'd be just like, ugh. And I'm like, oh, another one.
Yeah, no, it hurts.
Can I do anything? Like,
it hurts so fucking bad. I've also had ovarian cysts, and also to the point where like the way they've been mishandled in my experience too, like I've been hospitalized twice overnight because of the pain of ovarian cysts. The first time my like OBGYN was not available, and whoever the staff was, because it was like in the middle of the night, they were like, you're gonna have to have emergency surgery, it's a twisted ovary, and they're like freaking out. And then my OBGYN came and he went, no, because he had diagnosed me with PCOS like not too long before then. He's like, you're fine, you just unfortunately gotta let it pass. Like gotta wait till they burst.
Great.
And then another time I was hospitalized for it, they thought I had appendicitis because it was like on the same side. So I was nervous at first, but then it was like after a certain point I was like, okay, the pain's still there, but also can I get a sandwich? I haven't eaten all day. They were like, if you had appendicitis you wouldn't be thinking about food at all. I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's not that then. I also have a history of ovarian cysts. Could you check for that? And they were like, no, girl, that's not what this is. They didn't check for it, made me stay overnight, racked up a bunch of medical debt. Guess what it was? Exactly that. Ovarian cysts.
And it's almost like, okay. It's almost like you know your own body.
Yeah,
and you know what you've been through in your history.
Once.
Fun fact, because urgent care is like, do you remember urgent cares existing growing up, or is that just a symptom of like how our healthcare industry sucks?
Yeah, I think
they have to be like the.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I've never thought about that, but yeah, anytime I had an issue, it was just we're gonna take you to your primary care physician, get you on in there. But
because you actually could get in, and it's not like a 6 month or whatever.
And it was like in your neighborhood, and they knew you, and they were like your lifelong doctor. So it's just like, there was never. It was either primary care physician or emergency room, and that was it.
Yeah. But the one that I learned just dealing with my back stuff, that there is a 24-hour one in North Hollywood across from a strip club. So
nice.
I just because it's one of those things that says urgent care, and then you're like, oh, closes at 8 p.m. Okay. Great. I guess I won't have any pain or get hurt after 8 p.m.
No worries.
It's like, okay, I almost broke a rib last year too.
Oh God.
Because I fell while moving. And it was one of those things where it like knocked the wind out of me, and I like still went to go record a podcast because like, it was over Zoom and I was just producing. So like, I was like, if I feel, and again, that part of your brain where it's like, I was already like on the way to, I already knew I was having surgery, and I was just, because I like fell in a way that I was like, don't hurt your back even more.
Yeah.
And then it was like a thing of like, oh, like, I guess I'll just walk to the urgent care. I mean, I'm just glad it wasn't broken because it sounded crazy. And I know people have broken ribs. And I'm like, how loud must that have sounded to like, Anyway, that's been my obsession. I've been enjoying really asking people this like what kind of insane surgery. Most people thankfully a lot of people have just said like molars and wisdom teeth and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, my wisdom teeth. Tried to make a joke to that guy, he was not having it. I had all 4 wisdom teeth. I said, guess I'm just really wise. He was like, actually it means you're less evolved than the rest of us, because if you were more evolved you wouldn't have any fucking
what
wisdom teeth at all, because they're evolutionarily unnecessary. I was like, absolutely, aye, doc. I don't know
this
what
is
to
not
tell
care.
You. Yeah, I'm like, just laugh at my joke, please.
Yeah, I'm in
monster.
pain.
They also, that was actually a wild one for me too. I'm like, we're just getting into medical
No,
talk.
I'm excited.
But this, I was not fully knocked out by the anesthesia during that. So luckily I couldn't feel any pain. So I didn't have any like pain in this, but I was like in and out of consciousness. So I would just like, my eyes would come open and I'd go, it'd be like, and I would see blood splattering up on his glove. And I was like, oh, put me to sleep. Why am I not asleep?
You're like, this is like the worst video game.
I was like, is this? And then I looked like a chipmunk for 10 days and they gave me Vicodin and I was like, no. And I was like, I don't get how people have fun on pills because it just knocks me the fuck out. Like pain pills. I can't
See,
talk.
I know so many people, again, in that journey of talking to people where they were like terrified to take, which like they were really strict with me. Like after 2 weeks, it was like, you're done. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that was like, oh, I can't just maybe a little more.
Yeah.
But I felt like I knew so many people like who had surgeries who were like, I was terrified to take that. And I was like, girl, you just had like a crazy, you know, knee thing, broken leg, like fibroids removed, like whatever, like that kind of stuff. And it's just, but yeah, like our culture just tells us like, you know,
just don't worry about it. It's so fucking frustrating.
I mean, I felt like it just made me kind of like not feel pain. It didn't, and it just kind of made me out of it. Like the first 2 weeks after my surgery, and I kind of had to like learn how to walk again and stuff. But I mostly just listened to music, and then I watched Wizard of Oz, which was fun to watch, like on, Oxycontin or whatever.
Did you put on the album too? What was it, Pink Floyd?
Oh, I should have. That would have been like, whoa!
Yeah,
oh my god!
What the? Actually, this is so fun recovering from back surgery.
I don't need the sphere. Like I got this 3D environment happening.
Yeah, God, having to learn to walk again. How long was your recovery?
I mean, I was very lucky, and that's the thing I've been telling a lot of people is like, if you can get in shape before your surgery, so you're not starting at a deficit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, I like to describe my surgery, they cut me open in the front, so I have like C-section stolen valor.
Whoa.
And they like moved my organs out of the way. All the moms love that one. And they moved all my organs out of the way, like Tetris stole my organs out of the way. And then they flipped me over, then cut me open, like I have a fun tramp stamp scars on my back.
Nice.
And then they put the rods in, and then they flipped me back over, and then like Tetrised everything back, and like, yeah.
Wow.
They didn't drop an AirPod or their keys or anything inside. That was my biggest fear. It's just like boom, you know, like like an episode of The Pit, you know. Like,
I was literally just about to say I've been so into The Pit, and that's all I'm thinking of. I'm just imagining Dr. Robbie like moving your organs around, even though that's not an emergency room thing. That's not an emergency room thing. That's like whatever. I just watched the finale like 2 days ago. I'm shook. So good.
I'm a little terrified to watch it.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, just because I lived it, man.
For sure. No, absolutely. Triggering. The Pit will be triggering for you. I get it. That's fine. Okay, let me ask another question because I feel like we could just chit chat forever about the medical industry. Can you think of a time that you were at like a party or a social gathering and you had a story that you swore was just going to win everybody over and charm them and make them laugh, but they were actually like, wait, that's actually really sad. Are you okay?
I feel like it's hard because it's what, again, like going from healthcare to going to like the work that we do, and like you talk to any Gen Z about like, oh, I stayed up all night to do this thing. And they're like, oh, that's sad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, wait,
like, wait a minute. We were taught that like our productivity was tied into who we are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't think either you or I are like, or the people we know, like we've started to divorce ourselves from like mindset, grind set. Like we're not in that world. Like I love to hate on tech bros. Like that's my like
me too.
Reality TV is some people's hate watch. Like I hate watch like tech bros and stuff because all of those people are evil.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I feel like there's just moments where it is just, I don't know. I think anytime you talk about like, I mean, one of my things, like, you know, the first 5 years of My Favorite Murder, I stayed up all night every Wednesday and Sunday for 5 years.
Oh God.
You know, and thankfully at the time in the space where I was like, okay, well then I just slept all day Thursday or Monday. Yeah. But like, doesn't quite have the power that I feel like used to when you talk about that stuff. And I'm obviously very happy I did that, but it was just one of those things where it, you know, it's like, Yeah, that was an insane thing to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes when I tell it now, especially people who are like under 30, they're like, uh-oh,
They're like, what the fuck?
But it was like we did it because we were like, when you believe in something and it's
Yeah.
like something you care about, like you are willing to like do the most insane things. Edit a podcast while in a car, like
Oh my
edit on a
God.
plane, like pull over on the side of the highway to update slideshows for like a live show.
Thank God video podcasts weren't a thing at that
Oh,
point.
no, I don't think we could have done it that
would have
way.
been like way too much.
No, recording a podcast the night before, and then I would just go from recordings, like leave George's place, go, and then just start editing, and then just however much I could finish, and just, and then even the idea too of like it was literally up to me because they would obviously there wasn't time to listen back, so it was like I'm the only one who has to listen to this before 10 million people listen to it.
Truly like the most popular podcast of all time.
Yeah. And then now it's like amazing. Like their team is so big and everyone's there so great where it's like, oh yeah, there's like 5 people in legal and like so many people listen. I was like, no, I would just
You
listen.
were doing all of it.
And I'm like, I hope I'm thoughtful and compassionate enough to like know, because it's what was so great about the early days, like, they lived and learned from things and stuff, but it's like you never know. Like it is stressful to be like, I'm the only person listening to something before 10 million people listen to it.
Totally. I would be freaking out if that were me, but hey, you did that.
You just did
it. I mean, like not the same at all, but even just like in my 20s before and pre-COVID times, like I had a full-time job, but I was like hosting a weekly mic or hosting 2 mics a week, hosting a weekly show, hosting a monthly show. It was just like going to mics. It was just like that you have to be out there grinding all the time. It was just so drilled into us, and also such a weird like kind of masochistic form of like pride that people had about it. Is that the word? Yeah, masochistic. I'm like not. So I'm like, let me make sure to mix them up. Kill Bill, pulling that reference out of yeah, I was just like killing myself, and now I'm like, I just don't. I mean, this is a lot of work too because I do also have a full-time job with this, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I believe in it so much that I will forego. I'm not like going out in the way that I used to go out and like being out and being like drinking and partying all the time or whatever.
Do you think lockdown like changed that relationship for a lot of creative people?
Yeah, totally. 100%. I think that lockdown had a huge, I mean, I think it affected all of us in ways we're going to keep learning about for so long, but like it definitely affected me personally in the way of like, I definitely have a less of a social battery than I used to.
Yeah.
Like and I think also part of it is just getting older too. It's just like, I just need more time at home. I need more time to rest. I need more time to like, and then just focusing on the things that really feel both fun and like in a healthy way for me. Like I love my dance classes. I gotta go to my dance classes, I
feel like that's a thing I've experienced because during my recovery, I was like, when am I going to take the time to like take a class or personal enrichment? So I'm like, as of this recording, it's the next week is my last ASL class.
Oh wow,
Burbank Adult School. Shout out.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I've been taking it with my friend M because it was like, oh, if I take like they were gonna take it, and I was like, oh, like I have some downtime. And again, it's like, that mindset we put her like, I would never do anything for myself, I was like, okay, I'll take ASL like just for fun.
That's so cool. I think that's so cool. And I'm so intrigued by that. I'm like, did you find it, was it challenging? Do you feel like you picked it up easily? How did it go?
I mean, it's ASL 1, so you really are just learning like Donde está el baño, like level of like, just vocabulary and stuff. But I don't know. I've always been interested in it. It feels nice to like, and again, just working so much from home, or like my only social time is usually podcasting. So it's like going out to a class for 2 hours and you're just playing games and like just paying attention to something, stepping outside of yourself, not looking at a phone.
I was about to say, and exercise and being completely present. That's so nice.
Yeah.
I really I welcome any opportunity to just be present in the space.
Is that the dance classes for you?
Yes. It's like the one place where I can be like 100% present. I'm not overthinking things. I'm not like having anxiety narratives overtake my brain. I'm just like, okay, I literally have to focus on my spatial awareness of the people around me to not hit anybody. I have to pay attention to the choreography I'm learning. I have to try to like move my body in the way that I'm watching. It keeps your body and brain so occupied. It's just kind of like you have to be present. I feel like when I started, I was maybe a little more anxious because I was afraid of being seen. But the more I got used to it, now it's just like it's like the only place I can be fully present.
What kind of dance is it?
It's kind of like a mashup of genres, but it's like all levels classes. My 2 main classes I love to go to are Melissa Shady on Saturdays, 11:30 to 1, and Nathan Kim on Sundays, 11:30 to 1. And they both kind of mash genres. Melissa's more contemporary leaning, and then Nathan does a lot of like line dancing inspired, like
Okay.
fancy footwork kind of stuff, but also he mashes up like contemporary ballet, like pop. It's all over the
So
place.
you're
But
learning like you're
oh
learning
yeah.
routines and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Every class is learning like a minute to a minute and a half combo of choreo,
That's so
and
cool.
yeah, it's
See,
really fun.
yeah, I feel like and I took an archery class too, and you meet people, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm taking Spanish, I'm taking ceramics, I'm taking a dance class.
Yeah.
Like, I know Angela Trimber sometimes does a ballet
I took
class
her
here. You
class
did? I
in New
want to take it
York.
so
Wait, she's
bad.
gonna be here this
Wait,
weekend. Get on
really?
the wait list. See if you can get on the wait,
Okay.
because a lot of times people can't like end up not being able to go, and they can give their ticket away. I'm going on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in town. She got like a gig out here. But yeah, I went to her class in December when I was in New York, and I had been, because I'm such a fan of like
Yeah, yeah.
all her like dance videos. I would
Yeah,
see
yeah.
them on social media, and I was like, I have to take her class. I have to get there. And it finally worked out this last trip to New York I took, and it was so fun, so challenging. Like it
Sure.
was really tough.
She's
Like
amazing.
she's amazing. She teaches really long combos, and like it's also, I took the ballet core one, and ballet, I've never taken ballet in a real way, so it was very like, okay, I have to like figure out how to move to the music in this way. But it was so fun. And then yeah, it's funny because I signed up for the class just as soon as I saw she was coming to
Sure,
LA.
yeah.
I was like, I gotta get on it because it'll sell out immediately. And then she's doing the same combo she did when I took the
Oh,
class in
okay.
New York. So now I'll get to like have a round two with it and really get it even better. Hopefully. We'll see.
But it's the thing, I think like these two things are related. Like it was really interesting. Like I was producer for Jordan Jesse Go for a year, and it was interesting, like again, booking things and booking comedians and just like I remember Laurie Kiel Martin telling me one time like, oh, I like will drive around to like 3 shows a night, and I was just like, oh, I just assumed all the comedians just went to one show and just hung out. And I was like, oh, like there is
No.
like a level of grind that stand-ups have that is
Yeah.
like incredible. And it's one of those things where like because of their schedule, there was a time where they could only record on Sunday nights. And I really appreciated there were some comedians who were like, you know what, I really want to do this show, but like I have to like there has to be one night where I'm not working or
Right.
I'm not putting to stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, I like that more people are doing that, setting those kind of boundaries. Like and that idea of like I want to do something, like we can make it work, but I have like we have to keep a little something for ourselves now.
Yeah.
Because we know that like it's when you hear like boomers complain about service being bad, and I'm like, well, yeah, like they can't make like retail or service, like they don't make enough money to live, so why would they care?
Right.
Why would they care anymore? Like service is bad because nobody can make a living off
Because nobody can afford
work anymore. So
anything anymore. What's going on, you guys? Is there anything that you grew up thinking was really common, like that was just normal to you, maybe in your household or where you grew up, when you got older and moved away, you found out it was actually kind of weird or uncommon or like specific to your town or family?
It's funny, when I saw this question, I was thinking like, is there a positive version of that? Because like my parents split up when I was really young, but they like, I'm really grateful that they like never really, you hear stories of like parents who divorce like pit the kids against each other.
Yeah, big time.
And I was very lucky that I feel like they never really like I never saw that side of it. It's, even now my sister and I are like, it's weird that our parents were even together because it's been so long.
Right.
I think the only time that they ever let it show is that my dad would get pissed that my mom would take us to see movies. So then he was like, what do I do with them when I would get them every other week?
Can't take them to the movies every day.
Yeah, no. Up in Pasadena, I was here for the Northridge earthquake. I was
my God.
thrown out of bed as a kid.
Wow.
Woke up on the floor.
That's so scary.
I think that's not traumatic though, because I feel like people from California, like we love earthquakes, like we're excited about them. I mean, I don't want to, knock on wood, but you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I find it fascinating. Whereas I feel like sometimes people who move to LA are like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like,
yeah. I mean, I remember my first earthquake. Emily and I were roommates at the time. And when I first moved here, it was like 2 months into me living here. It was like on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I remember the St. Patrick's Day earthquake.
Yeah, it was like 4.4 or something like that, 4.7. I literally was like, I woke up like, no. And I just went, no. This is it. This is it. It's happening. And I curled up in a ball and didn't do anything. And I was like, oh, wow. So when things get real, I'll just give up immediately, I guess.
Roly-poly. Until
just like, whoop. I didn't even try to save Alfie. He was in his crate. I was like, well, and I'm ashamed of myself.
That's deep, dark shame.
It's deep, dark shame.
No, I remember that earthquake because that was like early Twitter days where it was like Alie Ward and I and, oh my God, John Legend, his wife.
Chrissy
Teigen.
Teigen.
It was like all of us up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever, being like,
Earthquake?
you know?
Yeah.
But that was my first apartment in LA by like Intelligentsia, El Cid, like
Oh,
that area.
nice.
And I
Okay.
walked out in the living room and my popcorn ceiling had a long crack in it. And then there was like popcorn everywhere,
Oh my
you know? And I was like,
God.
maybe it's time to move.
Oop. Yep.
Um,
We were in a house in North Hollywood where many weird things happened. We had a landlord who did not reveal to us that he lived on the property till we were moving in. And he lived in like the back section of the house. And then he had all these weird, crazy characters who would just come at like 5 a.m. because he like apparently took a car off the lot and didn't pay for it. And then they started looking for him and they were like, we know he's in there. And we were like,
Don't shoot.
we're just tenants. It's not us.
Wait, so it was like an Airbnb situation where like literally he had like a corner of the house that he could go into your living room? And
No.
Okay.
He did like have someone put up a wall. So I guess whatever part of the house he was living in that used to be part of the house in an open way, he like had a wall put up. So it was like a separate entrance.
Just a weird barbarian situation
was
happening. Like you tap the wall and it opens.
It was really weird. Yeah, no, it was weird. Yeah, I could get into some stories, but I'll leave that out because it was pretty crazy living there. But yeah, earthquakes are, I mean, now I've been in LA over 12 years. So I don't, even when they're that small, I like, most of the time I don't even feel them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there was an earthquake. I slept through it. Oh, nope. It's weird to get used to, but yeah.
I mean, the other thing that I was thinking of too is that, so I grew up in Anaheim, like Orange County has the biggest population of Mormons outside of Utah.
Oh my
I don't know if
God.
that's still true,
That's scary.
but you know, I had like Mormon neighbors everywhere. Like my sister literally converted for a while.
Just
and my stepbrother.
Okay, not forever.
No, not forever.
Okay, thank God.
I think my sister discovered weed in high school, and like,
nice.
it got way cooler than me. But she's a Virgo, so she's essentially Zendaya in Challengers. That's my sister.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, my sister's much cooler than me. but it was one of those things where like, and then because my grandma lived with us, and my sister converted, so my house was like a safe house for missionaries. It was like a place where missionaries would like stop off and like, you know, like my grandma would make them lunch or give them water and everything like that. But the weird part for me is that I was never converted because like when you think of like Mormon missionaries, like what do you think of? Like who the type of person is?
Yeah, just like covered up. White. Oh yeah, white, of course. I'm just like, that's literally it.
Yeah, just like
really covered up white people.
Yeah, mostly just nerdy 19-year-old white boys.
Yeah.
And
twinks. Okay, actually, such a good point. Thank you, Alie.
but for me, when I was like, you know, I think from the ages of like 10 to 13, when this was, or when this was like a normal occurrence in my life,
Yeah.
I'm 13. I'm like, I didn't have to play Little League anymore, thank God. And so I was just like watching Comedy Central and playing video games, living my best like 12-year-old life. And so I think a Mormon missionaries would do is like they'd play horse, like if you had a basketball court, and then like, you know, talk to you about, you know, Joseph Smith and everything and Jesus coming to the Americas and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jesus okay.
Yeah, he went to South America.
I don't know. I know embarrassingly little about Mormonism, and that's fucking crazy.
I mean, I like the way that Marcus Parks and Henry Zabrowski described it, where it's like if like the Bible, like the Mormon Bible is like the Lord of the Rings version of the Bible. Like it's got this like layer of like weird fantasy
that's
over the top of it.
Incredible.
But so
because they do believe they get their own like planet, right? Is that them when they die? Is that them? Yeah,
I forget. It's been a minute since I've been ensconced in the church. No, but for those like 19-year-old boys who like, you have to live a very like, you know, you live in like an apartment, usually it's like Mormon housing or whatever, and so you can't do anything fun. Like you're literally just studying the Bible and like staring at a wall. So they basically were like, we want to live vicariously through you because you're playing Super Smash Brothers, you're playing GoldenEye, you're playing like all these video games. So they would start to talk about like Jesus and stuff, but then they would just ask me about like what I was playing and what I was like, what video games and stuff, and like movies.
And
like,
you converted them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it was just one of those things where I was like, why did my sister and my stepbrother get converted, but not me? Like,
because you had to do the converting in the opposite way to the video games. That's why.
Yeah.
They're like, no, he's too cool for us, actually. Sorry.
We need a lifeblood to make this 4 years or 2 years, however long it is, go by. Because imagine just like having the Bible and that's it.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And it's like the Bible is, I had to
Yeah.
read it like, in college as like a philosophical
Sure,
text.
yeah.
And I was like, this shit is fucking crazy. I grew up Catholic, so I'm like, I had whatever sections of it that I learned about in school, but I was never a Bible head, admittedly. I was just like in religion class suffering, being like, I don't fucking believe in this shit.
Yeah.
Because from the time my dad died when I was 9, so from that moment on, I was just like, fuck that, God's not real. But I was still in Catholic school, so I was just kind of like, whatever, this is stupid. But yeah, but then when I had to get to college and read the Bible in like an academic way, I was like, what the fuck are people are crazy for believing this shit.
So your family wasn't religious, but they still
we
like
were
the
like
traditions.
went to church on Christmas and Easter Catholic.
Okay.
So yeah, not very religious, but just like only when they wanted to make you feel guilty about something,
when we can get something out of you.
Yeah, they're like, if I'm gonna use your father would roll over in his grave and like God would be so mad at you. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. My mom would get so mad. It's so funny because my mom was so not really like, we literally only went to church on Christmas and Easter, like that, or if I had like my communion or my, what was the other one, confirmation. That was like the only times we were at church. But then I'd be like, I don't believe in God, and she would get so mad at me, and I was like, whatever.
I love that.
Yeah,
I feel like I know so
rebellious.
many people with religious trauma, and to me, like, it's so fascinating because like the idea of like believing that there's something, like living with that fear. Like there's this great musician, Candy Carpenter, and they like, talk about like they would call their friends being like, you're going to hell. And I like it. Their album is amazing, but like it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that I don't have that. That's one trauma I don't have.
No, like, God bless. I mean, like I have it. I guess I didn't realize the ways it would show up for me because I did go to Catholic school from like preschool to 8th grade.
Wow.
So that's a lot of time, indoctrination time, despite the fact that I was always like of my own mind and I knew I didn't believe in it from like an early age. It still is like, it'll still get in your head, the things they say.
Yeah, and divorced from the God part were just shame.
Yeah,
or
so much
shame,
like so much. And because I was very outspoken and rebellious, I would get made fun of by my teachers and stuff because I'd be like, I don't believe in I don't believe in the death penalty, but I do believe in abortion. And they would like in front of the class be like, just clowning on me, like Theresa wants to save criminals and murder babies, and like everyone's like laughing. Really? But I didn't care. I was like, I was like, yeah.
That's wild for teachers to say that.
I know, especially at a Catholic school. I was like, what are we doing?
But they wouldn't. Was it like still? You get slap on the wrist?
No, we didn't get. I mean, I had it from like 1st to 3rd grade. I did have a very mean nun teacher who would like yell at us a lot, but there was never any physical anything, thank God. Because it was also like a Montessori school at the same time. So it was like Catholic, but then also like, but here's a more free love style of learning grammar and like art and stuff. I
didn't know that's what Montessori was.
I don't know. I'm not still really clear on what it actually means. I'm going to have to Google it after this. We'll put the definition in the episode description for the people.
Did I learn from that?
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. Can you think of something that felt traumatic at the time you were experiencing it, but now you're able to look back and laugh? And maybe how did you get to a place where you could look back and laugh about it?
That's hard. That's a really hard one. And I feel like your guests are so good at laughing at things down. Maybe just because I'm not a stand-up. So
it's like our bread and butter.
Yeah. You're like, I have to turn this into great material.
Yeah.
Like I just interviewed Brandy Posey again and just
I love Brandy.
And talking about her new album and like the horror. I mean, even just the mild horror of having to be in an Easter bunny costume and all that stuff. But no, I mean, for me, I think the one I think about a lot is that like I basically became a stepdad overnight during COVID.
Oh, wow.
Because I'd been dating somebody. And it was funny talking to somebody about this recently where like there was that time where like March 2020 and it was like, if you were with somebody long enough, you're like, all right, let's move in. Like, let's do it. And other people, I mean, some people even got married, but like, and then other people were like, well, we've only been dating for like 3 months. Bye. You know, like I was at a point with somebody where it was like, no, we've been dating for like almost, like over a year. So it was like, why wouldn't we move in together? But it was one of those things where I feel like, I don't know, for some people, I'm sure introduced, like, again, I grew up with divorced parents. And so it was always the thing, like my dad got remarried really early and my mom dated, but she never really introduced us to people until it was more serious. So my mom was a competitive line dancer.
Oh, whoa,
so
that's
she was
cool.
off, going in competitions and stuff.
Oh my God,
and everything.
I didn't even know there was competitive line
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
I just know about the queer line dancing. Ever been to Stud Country?
No, I haven't been yet, but I've been line dancing with a few other friends, and like that's what I call like Angela Trimber's like hipster ballet, like Stud Country is like hipster line dancing or whatever.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, so I was put in a position where I was like, okay, well, I've been seeing like you're slowly being introduced to this person's daughter, and then you're just sort of like. And then it was just, okay, well, now my ex is going to just move in with me during COVID. Or, it was that period where you're like, okay, I guess we're going to just stay together.
Yeah.
And it like got longer and longer and stuff. And then it was like, okay, well, now my daughter's going to come stay with us for 4 or 5 nights every other week.
Ooh.
And that was after only having seen her like maybe once or twice a month, like slowly increasing. But it truly was just like, and then because my ex worked a lot, there was just times where I was like, oh, I'm just watching your kid for you. Like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Damn.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, the part that I like don't regret or don't like, the part that I can laugh about is honestly, like, we got along great. She was 3 to 6 at the time. We both loved dinosaurs. We both loved toys.
That's
like
really sweet.
That was the part that, like, honestly, watching her was a dream. She's such a good kid. Like, I'm sure she's doing great now. But it was just one of those things where it was like, we had to trauma bond because of her mom, and just, I mean, again, like it's
and
just
COVID
and all of that stuff too. And just being kind of like all forced in together and having to deal with that,
Oh, what was it like to like be around it? I mean, I can only imagine like what it would have been like to be a kid that young while that was happening. Like, did you feel like, what was her sense of understanding of it? Like, how was it being with a child during all that? I feel like that's so specific.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I think when you're that young, you're really malleable. So it wasn't really like, I think the thing I remember the most is that, when, we're masking up and we're starting to go outside, people want to go outside and like go to the park or whatever. And so you could just really tell that she was like, I miss seeing other kids. And so anytime she would see other kids or we'd arrange like play dates with like friends, kids and stuff, she was just like, oh, like I just want to see other kids. And that part was like kind of hard to see because it's just like, oh yeah, like I'm at home working and stuff. And then her mom is like going off and working and stuff a bunch. So it was just like, and then we always had a joke, like my cat who just passed away, Penny Lane, like we'd always joke that her and Penny Lane were sisters, but then this little girl would be like, she's not my sister, like she's a cat, she was so smart. But yeah, it was just a thing of like, and you're also like, all right, I guess we're just gonna watch like Cats and like, Boss Baby and Minions and
Boss
like,
Baby.
Jurassic Park.
Sorry, I have a lot of feelings about Boss Baby.
Is that a traumatic?
Sorry, I have a whole hot take about. I'm like, I think that I'm nervous about the people who made that movie being like child molesters because those opening credits are weird. They get like,
I don't remember this. I honestly blacked out a lot of that time.
I mean, that's so fair. This is a derailing of the conversation for sure. But I'm just like, I remember my friends all gathered in like 2018 to watch Boss Baby for some reason. We were like, yeah. And then I'm watching the opening credits and they've got like a baby's butt jiggling and getting like slapped. And I was like, wait a minute.
The clues were here.
What's going on? This is from Epstein Island straight up. Right. I'm telling you, it's fucking weird.
Re-traumatizing.
Alie pulls up the opening sequence of Boss Baby. I'm telling you, right?
Immersion therapy. Turn the camera.
I know, we need to have the camera on you and have like a reaction shots. It's so fucking wild. We'll post a clip. That'll be in the out of context.
I mean, this is my chance to call out the movie Storks, when another kind of weird fucked up movie where
I've never seen Storks.
Where I used to work at a place where we'd like QC movies and stuff. And there was.
Wait, same. What was it called?
Deluxe.
No. Oh, okay. I bet we worked a lot with Deluxe. I worked at Premier Digital Services.
Okay, yeah. But it was one of those things where you're like, oh, I've watched Suicide Squad, not the good one. I watched the bad one, like 4 times, 3D, Left Eye, Right Eye, PAL, HD.
Yep.
And then
you're speaking my language.
And then for Storks, we got one that was labeled family friendly version. They cut out the lesbian couple at the end.
Oh my God.
Because we were like watching it, like, okay, what's different about this? And then right at the end when they do the like montage of the families and they just like swapped it out for another heteronormative couple, like it's just like, oh,
jarring.
Oh, this is just being slipped into theaters probably in certain regions and not even or put on planes or whatever.
That's probably the only way they could get the theater to agree to screen it at all, I bet, because there will be theaters that will like refuse to show certain movies if it has like even an inkling of that kind of stuff in like middle America and the rural areas that are like super conservative. It's
I was just a moment where you're like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah,
like, I hate the world we live in.
Oh my god, when I worked at Premiere Digital, I had to ingest. I was the ingest tech.
Oh, cool!
So,
you did like with tapes and stuff.
Yeah, so I dealt with all the HD cam tapes and stuff and Digibeta, whatever, and I had to send it to the QC team.
Legend.
Thank you. But one of my least favorite things I had to do was I had to ingest every single episode of the Kardashians dubbed in French for France. We were just sending off the French dub versions of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
No, they make you do weird stuff. Like, I watched the last season of Rizzoli and Isles without audio. So I like started to be like, oh, I was like, that is like if you want to say a queer baiting show or whatever, it was like, I was watching it being like, they're in love, right? Like they're a total couple and everyone's like, no. And then it's like, no, but in the last episode, they're like sitting in bed together. Like, what is happening?
This is so dyke coded. You have no idea. That's so funny. I know I saw so many random things that I just would have to ingest and even just like spot check and be like, what the fuck is this thing? But also a good perk was I was a hugely obsessed with Mad Men. So when the final season was airing, I got to get all of the episodes in a week ahead of when it aired because I had to ingest and we had to get it prepped for it to be on iTunes the day after it came out on after it aired on TV. So I would always get to just like sit in my dark little cave and be like, oh my god, what's Don Draper up to this week? And
that's exciting. That's an really exciting early perk. I feel like there wasn't that many movies that were like. Yeah. It was 2016, so I feel like there wasn't.
It was 2014 for me. This was because we had a contract with Lionsgate, so anything Lionsgate owned and would put out on iTunes, it would come to us. Nice. And so I would just have stacks of Lionsgate content, HD cam tapes to ingest like every goddamn day.
I mean, getting to see something early is fun.
No, it was so fun. That was the huge perk. I was like, I don't mind if I do. I started off there working the night shift from 6 p.m. to 2:30 a.m.
What was your life like at that?
Oh. But it was only like a few months, so thank God. But I was also like Sunday through Thursday, so then I had like Fridays and Saturdays off. But then I also had like the day Sunday because I didn't have to get to work till 6 p.m. But yeah, I was always coming home. The lights were out, everyone was asleep. I was like, I guess I'll try to go to bed now. And then I just have like a really slow morning. But it was nice because it was like the opposite of traffic. So whenever I was going to work, everybody else was like, I was leaving the Valley to go to Mid City for work while everybody else was leaving Mid City to go to the Valley to go home. So my traffic was always easy.
Because I feel like that's the thing when you like work your own schedule, or you're like freelancer, or you're doing stuff like that. It's like, ooh, I'm going to go to Target on a Tuesday morning or whatever. Was there things like that where you were like, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this so hard because I
have a personal trainer now and I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna and running errands all the time and just like it was nice because I got to be with Alfie all day and then there were people with him at night and I didn't have to worry about it. So
that's great.
I would never do that again though. I go to sleep, I'm like falling asleep by 11 p.m. most of the time now. It's to have to work till 2 a.m. could not do it.
No, I mean, I've basically been in recovery of that staying up all night twice a week for 5 years schedule, you know?
Yeah, like since you've done it. It's like, it's a lot. It's crazy. Okay. Is there a time you look back on in your life and you think about your behavior and you're like, oh, wow, I was really going through it, huh?
Ooh, that's another hard question, too. I was like, I mean, that's a good question. I had a couple answers and now I'm forgetting all of them.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Like, which ones are fun to talk about? I mean, I always feel like when you're leaving a relationship is always like really tough, you know?
Absolutely.
And so that relationship I was leaving, and that was like a situation where also like, I don't know, whenever you have to like flee from a relationship, like move out kind of thing, like is a little bit traumatic.
Oh yeah.
And so I felt like I had to give myself permission to kind of like be a mess for a while, you know, which like I'm an Aries, so like I'm supposed to be a mess. I mean, I am a mess all the time, but like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, my birthday was on last Friday.
Yes, happy belated.
Thank you. Had to bring it up. No, but you know, it's just that thing where you're like, and I think especially when you work a lot and your work is, you know, it's you and your reputation and all that stuff. And there was just a while where like, oh, I just canceled every plan. You know, I feel like if you knew me in 2022 and 2023, I was just like, let's do something. Never mind. Let's do something. Never mind. And like, there was like a year and a half where I like had to just like crawl back out of a hole, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that's the thing where like, in retrospect, it was because in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm not that different. And I'm like, oh, no, wait. Like, I have energy to do things that I'm excited about. I love what I'm doing. I'm happy to see people.
Yeah.
It is always that weird thing, too, when people are like, oh, you look happier or whatever. And I'm like, do I? Like, because we're always still going through stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
of
But
course.
still seeing that difference. Like, when people haven't
Yeah.
seen you since like COVID or like lockdown or like that time, and they're like, they like
Yeah.
look at you like, oh, like you're like, oh, something's different. I guess I'm like
Yeah.
a little more pep in my step
Yeah,
or
which
whatever.
good. You've recovered. There we go. But yeah, especially like I don't know, coming out of a relationship and a living together situation is
Yeah, yeah.
so hard as it is, but I can only imagine it being even more insane with COVID being like the impetus and therefore you've spent just so much more time, even
Yes,
more time
yeah.
than you typically would with
And then
living with
just with the
someone.
kid involved and
Exactly,
everything
and
and
then having
stuff
a kid
too.
involved complicates it. That's like so many factors to untangle. I don't envy you, and
I
I'm
mean,
so happy that you made it
thank you.
through.
Yeah. I mean, just anytime where you like have to, where people like friends or coworkers or people in life have to make up errands so you can get out of the house to like find a new apartment and
Yeah.
stuff, like that kind of stuff is very like,
Yeah.
it feels very intense at the time
Yeah.
because you're just like, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things that feels very intense. And later you're like, oh, I can't believe I like lived that, you
Yeah.
know?
But did you dye your hair any crazy colors? Anything like that happen for you with the breakup?
No, I wish I would have like, yeah, I didn't like shave my head or
Yeah. No
anything.
weird hair choices. Okay.
No, I feel like what did I do? I feel like I went to a lot. I feel like the years where I go through breakups, I go to a lot of concerts.
Okay.
So,
That's a fun.
you
That's
know what I mean,
good.
right? You're
Yeah.
just like feeling it.
You're
You're
just
like,
like I'm gonna reconnect with art that I. Oh, there's really nothing like seeing some live music. It's so. I really love it so
yes,
much. And every
yeah,
time I do it, because it's like I feel like it's hard to find the energy to do that because it's just so much. It's like your whole night
yeah,
and
yeah. Well, and
standing
it's
and like
especially
and
expensive
it's
now. And
expensive. But then when I do it, I'm like, I needed this. Like I
no,
really needed this.
last year was another breakup year, and so like another record concert year.
Yeah.
But like seeing Carly Rae Jepsen at the Troubadour do
Oh,
Emotion,
nice.
like in a like a you know in a crowd that was like less than 200 people, and we're all sweating, and like it was like that was therapy, you
Oh,
know?
hell yeah. I got to see Lucy Dacus last year
Oh,
at the
nice.
Greek, but I got the tickets like day of or the day
Oh,
before or
cool.
something because they were just on SeatGeek. They were like $30 and I had like
No, I tried to get tickets for that show,
almost
but I
front
didn't look.
row. Ooh, Steve Hernandez, shout out, had the hot tip on SeatGeek that day. He was just like posting to his stories like, I don't understand. There's a lot of really cheap Lucy
Is this a
Dacus tickets
scam?
available that are really close. You guys have to go to the show. And I was like, you know what? I will. And I took like a date, somebody I had gone on like one date with at the time. And then I was like, hey, Lucy Dacus is only $30 tonight. Want to do that instead of whatever else dumb shit we were going to do? And they were like, yeah, why not?
That feels good. Spontaneous. Like being
Yeah.
spontaneous. Again, I feel like our lives are so planned out now too.
Yeah.
Do you ever try to like leave room for like a Sunday morning or a Saturday or like a Wednesday to like, oh, if something happens, like I feel like I'm trying hard to do that.
I have to try hard to do that these days because I am pretty scheduled out.
Yeah.
Like my and when I have decided that a day is not something scheduled, it's usually very intentionally like I need to stay in the house.
Yes, yeah.
I need to sleep. But yeah, I mean, like I try to leave a little room for spontaneity too, where it's like if the mood hits just right, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I will come to happy hour real quick. Why not?
Because I feel like in LA, explaining to people who don't live in LA, it's like it is hard to hang out with people regularly, like
Yeah.
unless you have like a specifically scheduled thing.
Yeah.
And so there is times where you're like, oh, like I know a lot of people and I'm friends with a lot of people, but nobody is available right now. And
Yeah.
that's where you start to feel like, oh,
You're
do
like,
I have friends? You know,
right.
like no, I do. It's just we've built our lives here in a way that because I feel like when people talk about living in New York or Chicago, it's like, oh yeah, just we all go down to the bar or whatever. And
Yeah.
like, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially because those cities are so much more walkable and easy for public transportation. It's
Yeah.
just like so much. It makes a lot of sense that that's more the way it is. Where here, it's like you have to figure out what part of town do I live in, what part of town do you live in, how long is traffic going to take? Should we meet in the middle? Should we go to one of our sides of town or like stuff like
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
always a factor too. So it's like I tend to mostly see people I live near
Sure,
the
yeah.
most, or people who I'm super close with
Yeah.
and make that intention to see. But yeah, it is hard. I feel bad because I do have certain friends who their only mode is like, want to do this right now? And I go, oop, well, this day was scheduled about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm tapped out.
Do you feel like this is a thing I was realizing more recently is I think because of the planning nature and because of distance sometimes that we also have a lot of pressure to hang out when we hang out with somebody for a long time.
Yeah.
Like there is no just like 30-minute grab a coffee,
right.
an hour grab lunch. Like it's like, oh, if I'm having lunch with somebody, we're having lunch for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that also makes us less likely to be more spontaneous or to hang out with people because it's like, oh,
like
I don't have all day.
Yeah. Exactly. No, that makes so much sense. I know. I'm like, I have plans with someone tonight, and I made these plans 3 weeks ago, straight up. It's like, we were like, I got this date, this date, this date. Which one? All right, there we go. We both have that date, and I'll see you in 3 weeks.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's especially doing the podcast. I feel like it's been even more of a thing too because I'm working around my like day job schedule plus recording schedule plus knowing I need to leave time to like do all the editing of the episodes and cutting all of the clips and whatnot to put out on social media, which I'm so much more on social media than I've ever been. Blessing and a curse. I'm like, I'm learning so much and also get my phone away from me. But yeah, do you find you're like trying to come up with like silly different ways to like engage your audience for your podcast, or you kind of keep a like steady stream of like the same?
Well, what's a good answer to that? I feel like because I think I'm thankful that because I don't know. I feel like to me, I forget, somebody used this metaphor of like a reverse centaur, like the idea that, the more you chase trends or do
like
SEO.
Human legs, horse head?
Yeah, basically. And so it's like I'm
like trying to picture it.
Yeah, no, it was like a comic on Instagram, but it was just one of those things where it's like, I think we do live in such a algorithm-based thing where you really are like kind of forced to like I interviewed Lisa Wallen, who's a comedian, so funny, and she's also like a gamer and does Twitch stuff, but it's like it's that thing of like, oh, like those are kind of two different audiences, but it's like, no, but I want this to be my thing.
Yeah.
And so I think for myself too, it's like, because I have a lot of interests, like I don't like the idea of like not getting to share any of my interests. I like cats, I like dinosaurs, I like pop music. Like I don't want to have to be like, make an account for this, make an account for this. And I think that when you refuse to like do that stuff, you do get less of everything, I think, because I know some people who are so brilliant and they really optimize their shit, and it's just like, oh, I don't want to do that trend. I don't want to do like, I just don't, it doesn't feel authentic to me. I feel like,
I'm with you. Like I really, cause I'm like, I want to just, yes, I want the podcast to do well. And I think it's, it's getting momentum. It's happening. Things are like, clips are doing better and better the more we go, but I'm like, I still want to post my little dance videos too, and my little, I don't know, nerdy film shit. Like, let me be in my photography sometimes. Let me be a whole person. I feel like the algorithm does not reward people being like multifaceted individuals. They're like, you have to have your one thing and that's it.
And I feel like that's the meme too, going around of like posting about, Gaza, the election, this country. Yeah. Oh, go to my comedy show. Like, check out my podcast. And
it's
you're just
psychotic.
Like, but you're like, but that is everything that we are, whatever this is, every day,
You're
so
like inundated with it. It's weird. Yeah. It is such a specific, like, strange time to be existing in, where you're literally scrolling through like, get ready with me while I do that, and then seeing people get murdered, and then seeing people get abducted, and then seeing come to my comedy show, and then seeing like my new single's coming out, and then like it's just like it's
but that's why I think it's important to be like it's because to me it's funny, that phrase out of pocket like kind of always bothers me, because it's like that idea that like anything you say isn't what, like, or at least my interpretation of it is like, it always in my head, out of pocket means like not on brand, where it's like what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you said that, like, I feel like nobody says that in person. That's just like an online thing where like people have curated, and that's always my thing. Like, do the collaborative posts, like, fuck your Instagram aesthetic. Like, just like share people's things. Share your friends' stuff. Share politics. Like, share all of it because
Share
we're all
all of
being
it.
shadow banned anyway. So it's
Yeah,
like
and
you
we're all
might as
being
well take a
tracked.
stand. You know,
Literally,
yeah, like
yeah. Everyone, it's so. I agree with you. I'm just like, because I have some friends who, or not friends, but like acquaintances I know, maybe like in comedy, who have like a bigger following. But then when they'll do your podcast, like it, not me personally, but I've seen like from other friends, like they'll do your podcast, but then when it's time to promote it, they refuse to actually promote it or put it on their page or whatever. And I'm like, so why'd you even fucking do it in the first place? Are you like embarrassed to be on something that isn't like have a million followers yet? Like, how do you think it's going to get there? You could also be part of helping that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
There's enough room for all of us. Why
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just help all lift each other up? It's weird to me, but
well, it's also too like again, I obviously love doing podcasts and I love being on people's podcasts, but it also is that part of you that's also like, you know, but we did it, so I think it'd be nice. Like again, if you're having a guest on and like, yeah, of course they should want to promote it because otherwise, why
Right.
would they have gone on?
Right, exactly. Why would you be here if you didn't want people to like listen to what you have to say and like enjoy? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very
it's-
thankful that most of the time for shows I've worked on and stuff, usually everyone wants to be there because I could not
Yeah.
imagine doing a podcast because I've heard stories and it's just like imagine somebody not wanting to be there and having to actually connect with them as a person. You know what I mean? Just as like they're on their phone or like
God,
they're
nightmare.
high or whatever, but like high not in a fun way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh God, nightmare. Truly a nightmare.
Just stuff like that, you know. And even I feel very lucky that it's like so many of my just having booked podcasts and booked my own shows and whatever, like usually everyone is like, I always feel like it's a nightmare to deal with like agents and all that stuff. But like in general, a lot of that is just those people have reached a point where they're like, I'm bad at that stuff. So I'm very happy to let other people take care of it.
Yeah.
And I realize that it's worth going through that process. But then other times you're like, oh, I just want to be able to like text you and just say, hey, come over and like at this time.
My podcast. Yeah.
You know,
truly.
so I don't know. It's like a back and forth, but I'm like just passively aggressively collaborative posting all the time. You know, it's like, look, it's easier. It's less work for you.
It's so easy.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I think some people, I don't know, in my head, but I think maybe some people are just like, well, I have to curate my page just to look a certain way. But it doesn't really matter.
It literally doesn't matter.
Because literally, you know, the whole point of like when we were, you know, it's embarrassing to be like, oh, I've been on Instagram for 15 years.
Yeah.
Since 2011.
God, that's so wild to think about.
And you know, it's that thing where, you know, we grew up, we like cultivated our careers in a place where it was like, oh, because we wanted people to follow us because they like us, so they want to see our stuff, which doesn't work, which is not how they do it anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you want to see the people you follow? No.
It's crazy. I was just talking to my friend about that last night. I was like, my close friends who I see regularly will not come up on my fucking algorithm
because they want you to be more engaged. So it's like almost pay to play in that way where it's like, you know, it's the like, you know, the fun facts or whatever. It's like, oh, you know, like you're supposed to respond to every comment within the first hour so that you get boosted in the algorithm and like, you know, all that kind of stuff where it's like they want you to be on there all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, when the fuck am I supposed to eat? Be with friends, sleep, what the fuck? It's so, I refuse.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hope that this level of what I'm doing continues to grow in a sustainable way, because I can't, or I can hire someone to deal with it eventually.
I'm not at that point. I'm like, that's why for me, I think going back to your question, which is just like, I just post whatever. Like I'm just, at this point, it is truly volume over quality. Yeah. So, and obviously there's so many people who are really talented specifically at stuff, like who are like good at like a 1 minute, like I follow tons of science people and stuff, so I like love watching that stuff, or I just love watching people play with their cats or dogs or whatever. But it is just like, at this point, I'm like, it's just whatever, just like post, as long as you're like enjoying putting it up, like I think at that point, then at least, and honestly, just don't think about it.
That's the thing that like doing the podcast, because it's the nature of it. I was like very like, I would post to stories a lot, but I wouldn't post like to the grid almost ever. It'd be like once every few months or something. But with the podcast, I've had to be like putting things out way more often.
You
and
put a lot of great clips and stuff.
Thank you. And it's like really, it's been so interesting to be like, I really just have to kind of like, some certain ones where I like expect it to do well and then it doesn't, will like still get under my skin sometimes. But for the most part, I'm just like, we got to set it and forget it a little bit, unless it's starting to pop off, and then I guess we're going to respond to the comments. But like, just got to like keep it pushing, because it really is the volume thing. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it needs to just be ever present and unceasing. This is like social media has become a cosmic horror. Like it is a Cthulhu like entity.
They want
like
they literally want us to not do anything else.
No,
truly.
Yeah.
It's so scary. Which will segue us into do you have something you consider to be your weirdest coping mechanism and or your favorite coping mechanism? They could be the same, they could be different. You could share one, you could share both.
Ooh. Well, there was a problematic opinion one that I'll save it for that.
Yeah, okay.
Coping mechanism. I don't know. I guess wait, what's an example for you?
Like sometimes if I'm feeling really like I'll put on a show I've seen like a million times as like a comfort. If I'm just like I want to have something on but like I'm going through it but like I need to not pay attention and like be able to absorb new information. Like Mad Men was one
Okay.
for me for a while where it was like a comfort show where if I was ever feeling like some type of way I'd be like okay, I have to put on Mad Men. Like I've gone through but it's different shows, different phases.
No, that
Or
makes sense.
yeah, or like, oh, I gotta move my body. Dance class to like almost a toxic degree is one too. If I'm like going through stuff, I'm like, I gotta just dance it out. But
Yeah,
then I'm
yeah.
like getting myself injured.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think for me, because I think it's again part of the theme of the conversation of just like we everything we have to do is for content or that
Yeah.
kind of stuff where anytime somebody's like, oh, like me and my friends do a movie night, we make themed drinks and wear t-shirts, and it's like, do you have an Instagram for that? And it's like, no. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Like I'm like, oh no, I'm broken. Like
Oh no.
but no, I think my thing is that like is if I'm like very much needing like mental break, overstimulated, like I just ASMR that shit up.
Oh,
Like
nice.
I am
There
just
you go.
I'm disassociating for 2 hours watching like Bob Ross paint. I'm watching like any YouTube video from like 2008 to like 2012. Like there's it was like, there's all these people starting like YouTube networks of like cooking or gaming or whatever. There is a channel that is all just like uh Boston. Yeah, it's like all Massachusetts like chefs, and they're
Oh.
all just like really badly shot, like just like really uncharismatic people, and it's just like, here's how to make this ravioli or this pizza, and it's all very like soothing. And so I will
Nice.
literally just hit up that playlist and just literally zone out for 2 hours.
Yes.
Like that is my like I don't know. I feel like it's like we are so overstimulated now. Like our nervous system hasn't caught up to like, I was reading Island of the Blue Dolphin again last year
I've never
for a
read this.
podcast, Teen Creeps, really great podcast.
Okay.
But Island of the Blue Dolphin is about like a woman who's like stranded, an indigenous woman who was stranded on like one of the Channel Islands.
Oh shit.
And it's like talking about this thing of like, oh, she built this basket in a month, and like all this really like and it's like, oh yeah, the pace of life was so much slower, and now it's like, oh, like how many people do you talk to every day? I was like, I don't know, I maybe like talk to like 50 people a day every day, and like, and I don't even work a job that's like, like I'm not like on my feet at a restaurant or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
And so it's like we were so for me, my like I will literally just zone out like to Bob Ross for 2 hours and just like
Yeah.
like literally I had like on my bed with like my face like this close to my phone.
Yeah. I've done that and then I will drop it and then it hits my face.
Oh,
I go,
so painful.
I gotta rethink some things.
My life choices.
Yeah. Okay, but now we are at the point where we can ask, what would you consider to be your most problematic opinion that you are willing to admit on a public podcast, and or problematic behavior you engage in when you're going through something, and or just a hot take you want to pop off about to the people?
I love this one. I like the part where you're willing to talk about it on a podcast. It's like, oh, I'll tell you afterwards. And yeah, I was going to be a coward and be like, oh, pizza sucks or whatever. But I do love pizza. Like, I just didn't know pizza was good because I grew up here.
Okay.
And it's just like so many bad film sets where you're like, oh yeah, I've just had mediocre pizza my whole life. And then you go to New York once and then you like cry because the pizza's so good. So like, I can't say that anymore. I feel like my problem is like cigarettes are back, baby. Like we're doing it, like, and it's, obviously it's very bad, but like,
it's so bad.
But like, and I'm somebody who didn't smoke like really at all until like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh my God,
because
really?
I think it was a
Interesting.
coping mechanism of like being at home, locked down, needing to get out of the house, get away from my ex, like all that kind of stuff of like, I would just go, see, it's healthy because I would only smoke cigarettes while walking.
Okay.
So it cancels out, right? Oh boy.
Mental gymnastics.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But also, my dad smoked for 20 years. This is how I justify. I'm jinxing myself like all the way. But like, my dad smoked for 20 years, quit at 40. I'm turning 40 next year, so I have to stop. I have 1 year to stop, and then now he's like a champion CrossFitter in his 60s.
Whoa,
So
that's cool.
So I'm being very cocky, but
Wait. So you picked up this habit only within the last couple of years? Are you like? Do you consider yourself like? Do you smoke a lot? Are you a person who's like maybe like one every 2 days? I have friends on all ends of the spectrum of cigarette smoking.
I mean, it just depends. I feel like, yeah, because I go for a walk like every day. So yeah, probably like a few a day. I'm not like a pack a day at this point. But I feel like people who were actually smoking in their late teens, early 20s and quit. Because I know so many people who quit like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Who now, whenever they're around me, especially it's like, and then I will smoke when we're drinking, everyone's just like, again, the secondhand, like, can I like go near you and like get a whiff of my 20s,
That's so wild to me because I think cigarettes smell so bad.
No, I'm nostalgic because my dad and my stepmom used to smoke, and even my mom did for a while.
My dad was a smoker too. But he would like he would smoke in the house, in the car, windows rolled up. So and I would go to school smelling like cigarettes. So for me, I was like, get that shit away from me. I literally wrote a letter to the president asking him to make cigarettes illegal when I was in 5th grade.
So sorry.
I was like, my dad died, so you should make cigarettes illegal for literally everybody in America.
Well, they're making it illegal in the UK.
Really?
Anyone born after, I think, 2008 or 2009 will no longer be able to buy tobacco in
Whoa.
all of the UK.
Whoa, that's wild.
I don't know if it's like fully approved. It's one of those things where like smoking is now, like this thing is banned, and it's like, well, now it has to go to this Senate or, this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really didn't think, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, quite frankly, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't like cigarettes, but I don't also want to actually control what everybody else is doing unless it's affecting me. I don't want it to happen around me, but like, hey.
No, yeah, we don't need to go back to smoking sections.
Right, exactly.
And, like,
oh my God, the
airplanes
smoking sections in the restaurants. That shit was so wild when we go out to eat with my dad and he'd be like, yeah, we're going to be in the smoking section. But I'm like, but literally once you're smoking inside, everywhere's a smoking section.
No, and I will say this past weekend, and my voice sounds kind of insane right now because I was in Vegas and you can still smoke indoors.
I know.
And honestly, that was my dear friend Cassie got married. It was my birthday. Like, two very fun things. But honestly, I was just looking forward to smoking indoors for like 4 days straight.
You're like, I'm with my people.
Yeah, like the freedom of that. It just feels insane because you're like, oh, this can still happen somewhere.
Right. You're like, what? Because there was for a little while in Philly where I'm from, there was a bar in our neighborhood, like, even recent, I don't know if it's like still there, but even within the last few years where you were allowed to smoke inside still, but it was just like the one bar on Main Street. And I was like, well, I won't be going there.
And
but
the more
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. The more insane, but it's bad. The most insane part is that you couldn't smoke by the pool. So you couldn't smoke outside, but you could smoke inside.
That is so weird.
And you're just like, I don't know. This Bloody Mary is $40.
Vegas is the craziest place. Vegas is so insane. I've only had two very opposite end of the spectrum experiences in Vegas. One, absolutely fucking horrible for like very traumatic reasons. And then one, best time of my life.
That sounds like Vegas.
Yeah. I was like, all right, the two genders, bad Vegas, good Vegas.
But yeah, it's I'm going to, I obviously want to, but I think it is just funny to me where it was literally to like walk, like, because I feel like that's like people who are like line cooks or chefs. It's like, they'll stand outside and smoke and they're like, I don't know. Again, there's so many coping mechanisms. Whatever, people who do CrossFit, that's worse, The
CrossFit cult. This has been so much fun, Steven.
Oh, thank you.
This has been like, I'm so happy that we've now officially met in person. It's been such a joy to have you on the podcast. Hopefully again sometime.
I would love that.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a blast.
Thank you. It's been a real treat. It's fun to talk about stuff that isn't, normally I'm just keeping it light with dinosaurs or when I used to talk about cats or,
But here we get real.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'd listen to true crime, every week. But yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Trauma Bond with Theresa Bateman. This podcast is hosted, created, and edited by me, Theresa Bateman, produced by Alie Giordani. Our perfect theme song is written and performed by Tolliver. We are an independent podcast, so if you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps. And you can also join us as a paid subscriber on Substack for any exclusive bonus content, or if you just want to support the podcast and what we do. Bye!
And light another dude, cause it's what? It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. Them boys, they love the trauma. Them girls, they love the drama. NB just slapped my mama. Oh God, here comes the karma. Let's go. It's time to trauma bond, 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 bond. It's time to trauma bond, bond.